Gelareh, from the other side of it, how do you think a successful pitch for Vice works? What advice do you have for freelancers out there who are trying to connect to Vice or pitch stories to them?
I would, I guess, if I were to look at how we've pitched, like sort of our successful pitches, is like we looked at what the current conversation was and how we could visually tell it. So we don't have like this. I guess one thing with us that's a bit different is that we don't have a correspondent. So all of our stories are character driven. So the character needs to embody the sort of the issue that we're trying to raise or the conversation that we want to tell. So I guess first and foremost, we look for characters that can for their story to be an example of that, and then look at the visual aspects linked to it. So a lot of the conversations, for example, we would have with Milena and the team was like, okay, how can we visually tell this? Like, this is such a strong story, but is it a written piece or is it a video piece, especially without a correspondent explaining, like taking the viewer through the whole piece. So the way we look at it is like, yeah, first and foremost, what are the issues we want to raise? Where do we want to take the focus? Who can tell this the best way, and what is the best, and how visually best can we tell it?
And do you send do you make like a trailer or a video sample of the character to send, or do you just write it as the pitch only in text?
The pitch that we've done so far have been in text, but we've also do pre-interviews. So we would explain the type of conversation we've had with the characters that we want to showcase.
Thank you. Courtney, this question is for you, and it's sort of broader than this conversation. So a few years ago, Vice was criticized for its treatment of female journalists. Have things improved and changed?
I have to say, I actually joined Vice after that. I've been at Vice for a little under 4 years, and I can't, speak as like a representative for Vice on this issue, but I can say that personally, I felt that it's a great place to work as a woman, and I think that it's a newsroom that's supportive of women.
Milena, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I also joined after, but I can just to echo what Courtney was saying. I've always felt really supported working at Vice, and I've had like amazing managers that always advocated for me. So I'm grateful that I didn't have the experience that we've heard so many others have.
And Gelareh, as a woman journalist working in an environment in Iran, what are some of the things that you want Vice or other media outlets that you work with to be aware of in terms of the challenges that you face or the risks that you face? And how can they help you and support you in the work that you do?
I think the first important note, and I say this to any group that we've worked with, is that we have to realize that whatever we do cannot be a secret, because not only we're also a big team here, and everyone's living in Iran. So, at least like myself and my team are not that group that wants to like, we're not very deep investigative, where we can really break a story in a way that sometimes is requested for us, and we try in the best way that we can to show what is happening, to get into all the different worlds, all the different conversations that exist. And also we're primarily a women's crew here as well, and we just sort of came about together, and and there are so many ways to tell a story, and I think you can say the same thing, but it's very important how to say it. And I mean, so far, like everyone who's worked with us, because we've worked with different outlets, they've been very supportive on that matter. They've sort of let it in our hands instead of push for the narrative. And I think that's also another important point, is that, you know, like sometimes we would be like, can we not say the sentence in this way, but it's still the same sentence, but can we say it in that way? You know, or and just like little things like that. So we're not censoring the issue, but we're just rephrasing it, but we're not also taking away from it. And it's this constant balance that we do request a lot of time from those we work with. So, you know, as Milena and Courtney said, like we'd be texting constantly, you know, and every hour. And there's always, and that's been incredible, because we get the support and we get the feedback and the understanding that, okay, if we can't do it this way, can we do it that way? Because, you know, and it's not just us, it's those involved in the story. And I try to make sure that everyone's as comfortable as they can be. You know, I don't want to put anyone in danger here. So we really make sure everyone's comfortable, and we you know, we go over what we want to say and how we want to say it a lot. And we do it with the idea that, like, as mentioned, like it's out in the open. Like we're not gonna do it secretly.
Mhm.
So we can keep doing it, I think. Yeah.
Courtney, any thoughts on that, on how your team tries to offer the support needed in a place like Iran?
Yeah, I think something that I really appreciate about the sort of risk analysts and the people who manage safety in our newsroom is that the first thing I see them do in every conversation is ask whichever team it is, whether it's you know, situations I've had with people on the ground in risky, you know, and where like something has happened in a deployment, their first question is always like, what do you need? And what do you think is the best step? And then we, you know, sort of step into helping people. So I think, you know, that's kind of our question, is like looking to people like with questions about how we can better support them. And again, that Vice has this really amazing safety and security presence, which is both like physical safety and data security as well, to ensure that freelancers equally to staff have the support that they need to do the work as safely as possible, again, in any country that we're working in.